Hey guys, our guest today was born and raised in Chicago and is an inspirational children's author with an energetic love for children. Her zest for life is admired by everyone who knows her. After discovering her adopted son was profoundly deaf in both ears, she made it her mission to provide him with everything he needed to live his best life. After Mickey's surgery, the journey truly began. She is a realtor whose background involved restaurants and always helping other people, dedicating time at multiple charities in her community. She also coaches her son's soccer team and makes sure that he has the courage to be his optimal self. Welcome to the show, author of Mickey on the Move, a heartfelt true story that will inspire you, Michelle Wagner.
Hi, Mike. How are you doing?
I'm doing really
Thank you.
well. I love this book. I just read it for the second time, and I'm super excited to read it to my daughter this weekend when she comes in. So,
That's great. Hopefully she likes it too.
yeah. What I want to do real quick, too, we're talking about Mickey. He's obviously featured in the book. I love it. I love the artwork and the story we're going to talk about. I'm going to put a picture up right here. I know he just had to run off to school, so I was hoping we could get him live on the show. And we were not able to do that, but here we are. So we're going to put a nice picture to show Mickey with Michelle. And it just goes so well together. We were just saying that before we started recording. And what I want to do, obviously, we know the inspiration behind the book. It's the true story of Mickey needing ear implants, right, to help him to be able to hear. And it's a cool story talking about how in school he was able to get through that. And there's multiple situations that happen that really are, I feel like it's a great parenting lesson as a parent myself reading it. And just a reminder, what I want to do first, again, thank you for being on the show.
Of course, my pleasure.
What I'd love to do is focus on how understanding our children's feelings is so crucial, really, as any aspect of parenting, especially when it comes to something as significant as the loss of hearing. Talk to our parents tuning in. They maybe have a child doing, something similar or some disability that they're working through. What would you tell them, as far as how we can better understand our children and communicate with them?
Well, for any situation, a child or a friend, I would say try first to take a deep breath and put yourself in the shoes of that child. Put yourself in their place, in their position. And although that is very hard to do at times, we can form a greater, perspective of what's going on and the difficulties, and we can use what they might be going through to better understand and to exercise more patience ourselves in the process, because although we're the ones working with them and trying to help them and everything, they don't really know what's going on, and especially for a small child that cannot really understand what the issue might be, what the problem might be. We have to, number one, just show them love
Mm-hmm.
and encourage them and be their constant advocate and cheerleaders.
Right, because not every child's going to want to open up right away. Sometimes there's a clear mourning process, especially when they realize that something is wrong or there's going to be, in this case, it was a major surgery, right? I want you to talk about that in a minute. So I feel like, you have to be open all the time because your child may come to you at a different point in time. And it might not be when you're sitting down saying, okay, I really want you to talk to me about this. Maybe it depends on the age too. Obviously, I feel like once a child is older, you got to read into their body language as well. Like maybe they're just not in the spot. I know as adults we have the same thing, whether it's your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, they're having a moment and you try to come in and start to correct right away, and they're not in the I want help right now, I just need like 5 minutes of space. So children obviously are no different, and you really got to be keyed in on their body language and emotions, and it's really hard when they're young too. I know my daughter's gone through a few things, and it's extremely hard to understand how she's feeling because a lot of times, especially the younger they are, how do they articulate it, right?
Right.
like a crying infant. You don't know why they're crying, and you got to take them in and get testing, and it's horrific. And so I appreciate you writing the story, because it encourages us as adults, as educators, as parents, to make sure that obviously there's the inclusion of anyone who has anything going on. That, look, he's playing soccer, he's still creative in the art room, right? He was there's one other thing he was doing now too, right?
He plays tennis.
Tennis, yeah,
He
tennis and
wants he
soccer.
wants to be a police officer,
Right.
and
Yeah,
and
it's tremendous. Like, this isn't slowing him down. I mean, it may have slowed him down a little bit with everything he's gone through, but it doesn't slow him down from his dreams. He's still dreaming as big as he would any other way. And I just love that part of the story. It also focuses on children who are on the move. I want to make sure we don't just jump past that, because I know transferring to and from schools can be very difficult. Just going from an elementary school to a middle school to a high school, or for someone who stays in the same town, can be challenging. And Mickey and yourself moved, what was it, 5 times in and out of different schools. So talk to parents about how you can really, getting through those like transitions, what's the best you can do with your son to or daughter to get through that?
embrace it and be as positive as you can be, because they know how you're feeling, and they can feel it. And especially if there's, a communication, that's not typical of normal communication, which with Mickey was hearing and speaking, and still is.
Yeah.
But there was, and although we lived in the same house, we were going 2 hours away to a school, we were going an hour away to a school, and just following whatever was recommended for
Mhm.
that would benefit him the best. And full speed ahead, and took every stride, and just embraced it, because that's what he needed. And I kept positive through it all.
Mhm.
And of course, there was a lot of work involved, but the best thing was, his outlook on life
Mhm.
is basically, what I choose to show him. And even today, he's going to be 13 in April, and he still goes to a private speech pathologist 3 times a week, and
Mhm.
he still sort of dreads it, but it's the best thing for him.
Mhm.
And you know I'll never give up, and that's what I could say to everyone: never give up.
Mhm.
And you know it's
Adversity makes you stronger. And I know that I don't want that to sound like some kind of cheesy quote or something, Instagram quote, but it really does. Like, the best of the best have gone through the most adversity. Typically, you look at their upbringing, and you look at the fact that they never give up in business, multiple failures. Typically, the people that are most successful in business have started and failed more times. And I feel like children who have gone through some tough times, not only do they appreciate the good times, like when things are actually going well, we have a higher level of gratitude. I feel like that's as parents, that's as, as a child going through things, and you learn appreciation differently, I feel like. And also, I'm sure it helped them, like from a cultural standpoint, the ability to be able to mix in a little bit, and kind of, need to remake your friends again. That's difficult. I didn't have that experience moving around. I grew up in one town all the way up through college. So
what did I
for me to explain it, I'm not the best person to try to um, articulate it from through emotion, because I didn't experience it myself. But I'm trying to find maybe the silver lining in him bopping around was that he did, have that ability to make new friends and learn new schools and new teachers. And basically, the more the world throws at him, like he's like, I got this, I've been through some stuff, and this is. So he's 13 now, you said?
he'll be 13 in April.
I wish
And
I could have got a chance to say hello to him, because it sounds like he's just a tremendously positive minded kid, and I know where he gets it from.
thanks. He is. He's positive. He's confident. He definitely never gives up either, and he tries, very hard. And he's very ambitious.
Hmm.
He is, and nothing is going to stop him.
I could see that through the story in the book, but obviously it's real. It's not just the character in the book that's doing these things. It's actually him doing it in real life. Most
Right.
importantly, yeah.
Right.
Here's the other thing too. We talked about communication with children, and that goes for anybody, any child. You have to be able to open up and communicate with. But when kids have, and I don't even like obviously the word disabilities. I feel like it's old and but I like different abilities is the word. Children with different abilities, right? They're often misunderstood. Like the library example in the book, and for anyone who didn't read it yet, Mickey goes to the library to eat lunch, which obviously you're scolded in school to not eat lunch anywhere other than the cafeteria, and you're not supposed to eat in the library. But so at first glance, you can come in and you can say, Mickey, you're in trouble. You're not supposed to be eating in here. You get detention. Call Michelle up. Hey, Michelle, what's Mickey doing? He's acting out. And right away, you can just assume that the child is acting out. And the reason that he was doing that was because the lunchroom was so loud that with his new ear implants, it was like a screeching highway. Just the traffic in the room was so loud. So he was doing what he needed to do and wasn't making a big scene about it. And so I wanted to share that because I think a lot of time children can be misunderstood, and you see someone who looks like they're acting out, but they're acting in a way in reaction to something. And as a disciplinarian, whether that's in school or a parent, we got to be careful that we're not disciplining on an action without understanding why the action is happening. Can you talk more about that?
Sure. And I believe, we don't want to punish pain
Mm-hmm.
is the way I like to look at it. And what I do most is positive reinforcements,
Mm-hmm.
and also, accentuate, the good. You have to, and like Mickey's eyes, he was deaf and then he was implanted at age 3, and his eyesight, like he could see birds and planes. I mean, things that we cannot see, spiders. And he has an incredible way to find things, and I think that the more we focus on their positive, the less they feel that they're not a typical child. And because everyone has flaws, nobody is perfect. And he wears his cochlears on his ears, and they kind of blend in with his hair now because they've made some advancements. Cochlear implants have only been around for 25 years. So we are religious, and every time he says prayers, he thanks God for cochlears and thanks doctors, and because without that he couldn't hear. And we did do some sign language, but I think to really, communication is key. Any kind of communication. So in the instance you brought up about the library and why he was going there, and being overwhelmed, is a child acts up for a reason. An adult gets angry and acts out for a reason. There's something behind it. And I think if you first try and go to the why did you do this?
Why? Exactly. Yeah.
And then us as adults too, in business and friendships and everything, why, or what caused that. I think that to find a background and to better have an understanding of the situation before jumping to conclusions.
Yeah, so well said. You cannot jump to conclusions. Understand the why. And I like that you said that goes for anyone. So if you're listening to this, maybe you don't have children. Maybe you're just touched by the Mickey's story and Michelle's story. But at the same time, realize that this could be your spouse. If they're acting a certain way, don't get on them. Just maybe open your heart up and try to figure out why they're doing it. I know I've acted ways that I kind of regret because I was hurting and maybe didn't get it out, right? I think we can all, over our lifetime, think of a moment when we were maybe acting a certain way by an emotion, and all we needed to do is just address the emotion. Maybe go talk to someone about it, right? Such a great point. Podcasting is a great way to engage with your audience and stay consistently relevant. The only problem is you don't have the time or desire to produce your own show. You simply want it done for you, and that's where Social Chameleon comes in. All you need to do is press record and upload the files, we'll handle the rest. From planning, production, post-production, distribution, and digital marketing, we have you covered. We realize that times are tough and funds are tight, and Social Chameleon believes in building supportive business relationships. By clicking on the link in this promo, we'll provide you 7 free podcasting tips to get started, as well as a free 30-minute online consultation. This is the perfect opportunity for entrepreneurs, keynote speakers, industry experts, influencers, and anybody who has a personal brand. With Social Chameleon, we help you build a brand that is out of this world. We're ready and waiting, so what are you waiting for? Click on the link to get started today. Something that I just thought about, I brought it up with our friends, Lori Orlinsky and her daughter Haley were on my show with her book, Being Small Isn't So Bad After All, another beautiful story. Anyone listening or watching this, go back and watch that one as well. And something we came up with on the show was that your shortcoming can become your superpower. And I believe with Mickey, it's the same story, very similar. His shortcoming of not being able to hear is now his superpower. I can picture him growing up and helping other kids and educating and being able to help people in a way that without that initial situation with the cochlear implants, that maybe he just goes through and kind of just gets through school. And now he's going and he's attacking it with a different appreciation, more gratitude. He's praying at a deeper level. And I guarantee he's going to want to help other kids. If he sees a kid struggling in school, not with just hearing loss, maybe someone's having a hard time in math and kids are picking on him, I bet Mickey's going to be more prone to help the kid out than to bully him.
Well, absolutely. And that's the thing. It's every, through the years, there's different testings you go through and doctors you see and everything. And any report, the thing that I guess is kind of like amplified the most is how empathetic Mickey is. He has, nature versus nurture, that to have empathy is something that truly will carry you through your life, because you can, there's no judgment or anything. And he is great he has a lot of younger cousins, and he is great with younger children. He is so,
shining through in his character
and careful. And, when he sees other people with, that are not typical, perhaps,
sure.
In a wheelchair or anything that's not typical, he's like, oh, the poor guy, or oh, the poor girl, or yes, let's help this person, or let's, give, because he has never taken pity upon himself.
Yeah.
And
the victim mentality. He's 13 and he already forget about the victim mentality. He's way over.
Exactly. No, I mean, and he never was like that. Even with, he has like I said, he's ambitious and courageous and, confident, and I think those are really important things, along with gratitude, to carry you through life, no matter what your challenges are.
100%. Super well said. I know we only have like 15 minutes. You have to run. What I love our audience to do is, yes, we're focused on Mickey. He's a superhero in the story, but you also wrote the story. You came up with the idea. You lived it, right? And aside from that, being a mom, super mom, I'm going to call you, because that's what I feel you are. And also, so give a shout out to your family. And then also, we want to know more about you. I mean, at the top of the show, I mentioned you're a realtor. You have a background involved with restaurants. I want to know more about that. Tell us about your story and what you're up to.
Well, I was born and raised in Chicago, and by my shout out to my parents, my mom and dad, Christine and Robert, who've been married for 44 years. And I was raised with 2 sisters, a very close, big family, Italian and Polish. So
okay,
lots of food and all that good stuff.
Both cultures definitely have great food. I'm 100% Italian, if you couldn't tell by the schnoz and the eyebrows. So I know the Italian side of that. And I was married to someone who had Polish in their bloodline, and a lot of great food there as well. Pierogies and you name it.
Yes, yes. So I knew always that food was a way of showing love and caring. And I was the oldest of three girls.
Okay.
So
The trailblazer.
yeah, I was kind of like, motherly from the start. I started babysitting other kids when I was about 11, and then
Wow.
I worked in a grocery store starting at 15, and I was
Mhm.
always really good grades in school,
Who was
hard
your biggest
worker.
inspiration at that time? So you're 15, you're working at the grocery store, you know there's more for you in life at that point. Where were you getting your inspiration at that point?
Wow. Well, I um I probably didn't realize it at the time. My mother, I'm very much like my mother in the caring,
Mhm.
nurturing, giving sense. But I don't know. I always liked. I wanted to be the first lady. I wanted.
Okay.
I liked, but I liked to work. Did I know exactly like what I was gonna do? No, and then
Yeah.
working through college, got in the restaurant business because I loved children too, and I'm grateful that I had that educational background
Okay.
in school and the experience teaching because
Hmm.
of course that helped me with Mickey
Hmm.
and but I through the restaurant business and high-end restaurants I learned a lot. I got to work for a great family
Awesome.
owned fine
You
dining
learn so
and
much. I've never personally worked in the restaurant business. I've worked in retail and customer service focused industries. I have my own company now. Every business lives and dies by their quality of their customer care. And the restaurant industry is exactly that. Like you have a bad experience, sometimes you don't get a second chance, right? So, do you feel like you had that instilled from this family restaurant atmosphere of just taking care of the people walking in the door, like it's your house? You're
absolutely
a
and
guest at our house, right?
right. And my house was the house all the kids came to after school or played at or my mom was always baking and my house is that today.
Mm.
And in fact, I just got engaged and my fiance is from like closer to San Francisco, the Bay Area. And he just
Congratulations, that's
there.
awesome.
Thank you. He
Super.
just loves it up here because it's a community. Like
Yeah.
where Mickey and I live, it's a safe, true community,
Mhm.
and that is so important. And giving back to that community is something very important to me. My youngest sister lives 3 blocks away. She ended up living out here in Northern California, Napa Valley as well.
Awesome.
And so, anyways, when Mickey came along, I couldn't be in the restaurant business anymore.
Mhm.
But I do love my passion and my relaxation is cooking, and I love it. And I would have wanted my own restaurant, but I can't. I don't think you could have like a family.
Yeah.
And
Well, you
Angie,
have a fiance who's appreciating it, I'm sure, and Mickey. And do you have other children too?
just Mickey,
Mickey.
just Mickey.
Awesome.
And then, but I've godchildren, and there's always other kids. Even
Mhm.
I have a lot of wonderful teenage girls in my life that they help babysit and we just have a really good relationship. They could feel like they
Mhm.
can talk to me more easily than
Yeah.
most. And that's a great feeling. I love the feeling of an open door of comfort and safety and everyone's welcome.
Yeah.
And I think also it's an example, I was divorced when Mickey was a very young age, and it was a very hard thing to go through. And also
Mhm.
finding out he was deaf, and it all kind of happened at
Yeah.
one time,
Mhm.
and it was the first time everything in my life broke. Because as I said,
Mm.
I was a good
Things are
student,
moving around,
and
moving
then
forward
everything
for you.
right crashed. And I think how I overcame all of that um, can sort of gave everybody a little hope. And
Yeah, they're like,
and
"Wow, look what Michelle can get through." You know what that was? That was God giving you things happening for you that at the time felt, "Why me?" But the true way to think about it was, "Why not me?" And Mickey was a charm in your life, is a charm. And also, I went through divorce too. And the only way I can look at it is anything positive that we can get from it now. Right. I mean, I have a beautiful daughter with my ex wife. And so I'm never going to go back and say, I wish I never met this person or anything cold like that. It's like, okay, what did we learn from it? Right. We were married 7 years and we have a beautiful now 6-year-old daughter. I mean, there's no negative way to look at it. And we're both in separate relationships and happy in our own right. So I think it's really important when you're telling your story for anyone listening to think whenever you're dealt some bad cards, the first thing that is natural and easy is like, why is this happening to me? I mean, I lost my father. He was 69. He passed away a couple of weeks before Christmas, and we all feel like he was robbed. He had COVID-19 and passed away within a week
Oh,
of being in a hospital. And it's like, man, dad just got robbed completely. And I could have shut down for a year and just said, I don't want to talk to anyone, like just handle it poorly. And the opposite. I mean, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I just opened my arms up to my network, and a bunch of my friends did the same for me. And we're getting through it together. And that's what humans do. We connect, we collaborate, we help out, we're cheerleaders for everyone. And I see you doing that. You're smiling as I say it because I know that's who you are for your family, your friends, and your network. And I can feel that in just the short time we've had today.
thank you. Yeah, I think it's the more we help others,
Mm-hmm.
that's how we can truly help ourselves
Mm-hmm.
too. And just, in any experience. I have here, I can put it up here, the photo
Oh,
of
there it is. Beautiful.
Mickey with
That's
his
awesome.
chicken. So he takes care of his own chickens now. And I started saying about my fiance, and we kind of we were fortunate enough to buy an orchard
I was gonna say, yeah, you're in
behind
Napa
my house.
Valley, so
And it's good because working outside and working together as a community, as a family, as anything, are just so important, and things that we cannot take for granted.
another great lesson is if you're gonna do something you love, you and your fiance. What's your fiance's name?
His name is Rick.
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 Yeah, so
Mick
you and
and
Rick are
Rick.
Mick and Rick. I love it. You guys are hanging out, right? And then it's not like, okay, Mickey, go do your homework. No, like we're outside, we're doing some stuff in the yard. Mickey, come and help us out. And like he's learning and growing, being with you guys. And I encourage any family that's listening to this, like if you have tasks that maybe you think are like over your children's heads, like still include them in it because they'll grasp some of it. Maybe they're not going to do it at your level, but include them in it so they're all part of the family and like they can learn from it and see how you and Rick interact with one another. And Mickey's going to learn true love by watching how you guys treat each other the whole time.
Exactly. And another important thing to note about with Mickey is he's so visual because of his um, language and hearing barriers. I mean, I mentioned about his eyesight being so good, but
Mhm.
he can read people's feelings by their actions.
Mhm.
And he just recently transferred into a school. His dad and I made the decision. It's a farm school here,
Mhm.
and he's interacting, and he's learning. He's learned so much more just by being able to touch and feel the animals and count things he's interested in and do woodwork. And then, he and Rick built our new chicken coop, and learning with your hands and just finding alternative ways, because
Mhm.
we're not all built the same. And being in the restaurant business and a realtor, is I can't sit still very long. I
Yeah.
have to be on the move, and I could never do a desk job. I give lots of credit to people that can do
Mhm.
that, all that computer work and stuff. And
Mhm.
but Mickey is kind of, similar to me in that he likes to be active too and learns through action. And so I think no matter what your challenge is, you or your child, there's a way to work around the norm. Think
Mhm.
outside the box.
Absolutely. Man, I could talk to you all day long. I know we got to wrap up with I have two more questions for you guys. I forgot to mention this at the top of the show. Mickey on the Move. It's available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, any local bookstore. Check it out at your local bookstore because you can find it there. But if you're an online shopper, go to Amazon. Mickey on the Move by Michelle Wagner. Awesome artwork. Got to throw a shout out to Jenny Phelps as well. Love the artwork. It builds character in the whole story as well. What I'd love for you to do And if you watched any of my previous episodes, you might know this is coming. But the mission for my show is to inspire my audience to be brave and bold in pursuit of their dreams. That's why I take time out of my day to do this show. So anyone who listens can hear stories like yours and my other guests and say, wait, why not me? Why don't I go and do this thing, my story? So if you're talking to our audience right now, what would you tell them to inspire them to be brave and bold in pursuit of their dreams?
You can do it. Yeah. Like you can do it no matter what. Just do it. Like the Nike says, because
Get started.
Because the more you open up and share something that you think as a downfall or a setback, by sharing your story, you're truly helping everyone. You're helping more people voice what's going on for them, and you're helping more people feel comfort in sharing, or they will reach out to you and you help them. And as I said, and I know from my life, helping others truly helps me and makes me more grateful every single day. So no matter what, sky's the limit. There's no limit. And if you, I mean, I never thought I would write a book. I never thought anything was, we all dream, but dreams can come true as long as you work for them.
Yeah. It's that dream and take action mentality. But I love what you said too, is that like you can do it, because a lot of times people think, they watch athletes and they think, well, Michael Jordan, man, that guy's just a special freak talent. Well, guess what? Michael Jordan was once the little kid with a basketball dreaming, and his mom would watch him outside playing with the kids, and he wasn't doing his homework, and she'd yell at him, get in here. What are you doing playing that game? You got to do your schoolwork, right? And he ends up becoming Michael Jordan. So I have another book similar to this about his story that his mother wrote too, called, I think it's The Big Dream. Absolutely. Like just dream big, right? And then go and you have to do the hard work that follows. But once you find your purpose and the thing that lights you up, it's not even really work. Like you want to work on it. I always feel whenever I'm on purpose and doing stuff I love, midnight hits and I'm like, damn it, why did the day have to end? Like I want more time, right? And that's when you're doing the right things, is when you just feel that energy and weeks go by and you're like, whew, it's just flying by.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. And then what are 3 things that you're most grateful for? I talk about gratitude, be great, be grateful. What would you say you're most grateful for?
I'm grateful for life's challenges. I'm grateful for all the people in my life. And I'm grateful also for my health. Yeah,
absolutely. Talked to a few guests yesterday, and they had a lot going on, a lot of positive things going on in their life. And everyone always comes back to, when you're mindful of it, your health, because you can have $1 billion, right? You can have it all. Yep. If you don't have your health at the end of the day, you don't get to experience the beauty that is presented to us in life. So really well said. This was a fun interview. I know it flew by. I feel like I just started talking with you and it's already to the end. Where can we follow you? If I want to follow you on social, are you on Instagram and Facebook? Where can we check you out?
Yes, I'm on everything. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. Mickey on the Move has his own Instagram. Okay. So you can look that up too. Buy the book at your local bookstores. It's all over. It's at Amazon online, Barnes and Noble online. Okay. And Michelle Wagner Real Estate. I work for St. Helena Real Estate here in Napa Valley. If you ever are looking for a house here, and I will catch up with you later, Mike, and just maybe send you a link to all the handles.
I have family in Sacramento, San Francisco, La Jolla, Sherman Oaks. So at some point I'm doing the California tour, and I'd love to connect with you maybe at a local restaurant, and I can get to hang out with Mickey.
Yeah, we have the best restaurants here in Napa Valley.
Well, I trust you. I know it's either going to be a restaurant, or maybe I'll rub some elbows and get some home cooked meals from you, because you kind of tease the fact that you're a really good cook. So however we do it, I'd love to make that happen. Thank you so much for coming out today or being on the show, providing value to the audience. You're amazing, and just enjoy the rest of your week, and thank you for your time today.
Thanks, Mike. Have a great day, everybody.
Hey guys, this is Mike, and I wanted to personally thank you for tuning in, for being part of my journey. Together we can make a positive impact in the world. A shout out to everyone who's been tuning in. I love reading your feedback and appreciate the reviews on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and the messages that have been coming in on social media as well. I love you guys. Thank you so much for making this journey as much fun as it's been so far. I'm doing what I love, and it's awesome to hear that it's showing up in the podcast. If you haven't left a review yet, it's greatly appreciated if you do. And of course, if you share any content on social as well, I see it all and I appreciate you helping me spread the love. You can check out more show notes and information at mikeduppodcast.com, MIKED uppodcast.com, powered by Social Chameleon. You know what to do. Be great and be grateful.